Good morning, folks. Welcome aboard another day of Building Eevee. Well, I had a successful day in the workshop yesterday. I made the threshold to separate the carpet tiles from the kitchen flooring, and I'm going to put a threshold in here as well between the bathroom and the kitchen, despite the fact there'll be different flooring, just because it'll make the laying of the floor that much easier, because then it'll just be square and stuff. And the threshold for the bathroom to the bedroom. Unfortunately, when I got home and unloaded everything, then I realised that I'd left the thresholds behind. So now we shall be getting on with something else. That is going to be these cupboards here. And so we'll see how those go. I've also got the bathroom cabinet, so I can test where it's going to line up. So a quick measure of the cabinet and a quick measure of the wall. Oh dear, not going to fit. Right, well, onto something else then. This is the bit of wall which will close up the pocket door. This is the one that was just a little bit wider than a half a sheet that I put together over the workshop the other day. So I will have to wax this in due course, but it now fits, having just trimmed the top corners off. So apart from it's a little bit too wide, just a gnat's whisker. So put the two tracks together and trim that off, and there we go. Now it fits perfectly. Well, once I put a screw in it anyway. Onto the hatch, this is actually so that I can put the cupboard in, but it's part of the hatch lining or support for the hatch lining, whatever. Something to screw against or what have you, fix against. So this needed to go in before I could put in the front of the cupboard, and there was a bit of trimming of spray foam up there to do, and the support thing came in handy. And then I started to make a one of the templatey things that I like to make. This is a bit more difficult in free space than against a frame or anything, but anyway, it worked well enough. As you can see, I had the hatch and back doors open because it was a lovely day, which is a nice thing to get back to this sort of working outside type weather. It feels like it's easier to get on with things while the sun is shining, doesn't it? Anyway, it was short-lived, but then I had to decide which bit of the bit of wood I was going to use for this particular door or wall, whatever. It's obviously going to be fairly visible as you walk down the corridor towards it, so I wanted to pick the best one that I could. And then just a case of getting the tractor out and doing the usual chops. I am cutting this what is technically upside down. The tracksaw works better like a jigsaw when you cut upwards into things, but all of these sides should get hidden anyway, and just a little light sand will take the little splintery things off. And then it was onto the final time I'm going to have to do this, I think, anyway. I'm sure I'll probably use this technique somewhere else, but certainly for these big sort of areas, a little jiggery pokery on this one to find the best possible wood grain to go in to be visible. And I made a mistake there. That hole really annoyed me. It's just, I don't know why, I don't know how, don't know why, but anyway. You may be wondering why I'm taking a wall off. Well, this is because I want to be able to take the floor up if I need to. I don't expect to be able to take the floor. Oh, there's a stuck screw, broken screw head in here. That was a bit annoying. But anyway, I got it out fairly quickly. So the reason I've taken this wall off is so that I can make a cut in the floor at the edge underneath the wall. So I'm just using the oscillating saw just to put a couple of inches of cut effectively where I won't be able to get to once the wall is back up and the radiator is on. This means that if I do decide that I need to take up half of this section of floor or whatever, then I can run a cut across the beam, and it'll be broken under the wall already. Anyway, onto the waxing of the piece that will form the return of this cupboard towards the back doors. You've seen me do the waxing before. sort of double cream sort of consistency. Take the wax and thin it down with some thinners, and then put it on with a roller, and well, a little bit of brushing where necessary. Just seemed like there was a little bit sort of missing, and then wax off. Make sure there are continuous strokes in one direction, and then pop it down to dry. And onto this is the piece which will go underneath the back steps. So where the double socket is at the moment, I'm looking forward to getting this bit in, because, well, when I put this bit in, then I will have electrics all around the boat working, because I'll have to take that double socket down. So it'll be a notable day when that happens. Then just knocking off the surface with the light sand. I didn't record me doing it on the longer thin bit, but anyway, onto the manifold and the piping. So as you may recall, I use Uponor Q&E pipes, not standard plastic pipe, which means that I can just put bends in things and avoid lots of joints. So I guess that's pretty much why I've been able to why I decided I was able to bury the pipes, because I haven't got loads of joints in places. From the manifold, then obviously it goes all the way to the radiator without any joints, or the radiators without any joints. But anyway, I was quite surprised when I actually got around to putting this in. I did think I should have done this earlier. It would have just kept these pipes out of the way a bit more than they were. But anyway, it is done now. I'm not sure whether I will pressure test the system before actually commissioning it. I tried to work that out. You can buy water pressure testers, but running it up to however many bar with a pressure tester seems to me like the same thing as running it up to whatever bar with the water pump. So I'm not sure what the benefit of doing it with buying a pressure tester to do that is. I've been trying to find an air pressure tester because that seems like it won't make a mess if it's not good enough anyway. But I haven't been able to find one. I would happily use an air pressure tester if there was one available. We'll see what happens when I get around to commissioning. Anyway, back to the wardrobe. I put some pocket holes in the side of that off camera, and then I found that if I hook the Hoover up to the pocket hole jig, then it works even better as well. Who knew? Dust extraction for the win, eh, John? Anyway, this was just a temporary brace just to hold it in place there, as you can see, so that I could put the final wall up, because I needed to know what the distance was and so on. I cut this wall down off camera, and then the final hole, porthole, which I don't know, again seemed a bit nerve-wracking. Cutting holes in things is far more worrying to me than cutting the edges off things. This is something I should have done previously. This is some sort of jig to as a wall carrier. Now it's the wrong height, so I'm using it at an angle and I've got my foot on it and whatever. But seriously, I mean, I know that professionals have a little two supports, one either end of the wall, that are a consistent height. Had I made myself two supports from day one, then it would have just made life a lot easier, and I would have had the walls at the right height from day one, instead of having to cut them off at the bottom like I did down the other end of the boat. Well, I'm a little stuck, because right here, then I want to get this wall, the side of this cupboard in. This is the side of the cupboard that will actually be closed. But there's a piece of wood that goes on the edge here that I've left over at the workshop. So that bit of wood down there can't go where it's supposed to go, which means I could take this down and try and cut the holes in it for the doors, but it seems a bit silly. Obviously we've got this wall up with Mike's help, and so that's all the walls up. Look at that, there we go. Again, there's the same is true of missing the corner banding for this cupboard, which will be accessed from over here, so it'll be quite a sort of a large cupboard to get there. These are the LED carriers that go in there. I was just looking at those. I was just thinking that I could close this up and never have to take it down again, but I just realised I think I might need to cut something in there before I kind of do everything for the last time. So anyway, progress, I think. You know, we got something that looks like a bedroom taking shape-ish. All the walls are up, so I will see you tomorrow. Take care. Bye.